next week, Monday, the 19th, is the appearance day of Lord Balaram. And on the 26th, the following Monday, is the appearance day of Lord Krishna. It's Janmashtami. These are very important days, big days for celebrations in Krishna consciousness. So Mahaprabhu, Prabhu,
yes, Maharaj.
It's okay. I'm just referring to you. Yes, we've known each other since 1985, 6, 4?
85, Maharaj.
85.
It's toward the end of 86, I'll say.
Oh, really?
Because that's
Okay.
when I joined. I joined in
I
86.
see. Okay. So what? That's almost 40 years. Hey, that's a long time. Where were you 40 years ago? Yeah, it's okay. I'm just joking with you. Yeah, right. So we've known each other a long time. And he's a good devotee. He is really a really good devotee. So anyway, he ordered me to say some words about Lord Balaram. Yeah, great. Because Lord Balaram's really wonderful. He is the first expansion of Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna is number one, the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then he expands into actually unlimited forms. Not just hundreds or thousands or even millions, not even billions, but you cannot say how many. The number is too great. But the first one, first expansion, is Lord Balaram. Yeah, so he's a very important person. And Lord Balaram, as the first expansion, he is basically completely equal to Krishna. There's only one difference really, main difference. Who knows what that is? One of you Soweto Meadowlands devotees, no? There is a difference, interesting difference, particularly for us here in South Africa. Yeah? Color! You got it. Yeah, Balaram is white. Now, you may look at me and think that I'm a white man, but I'm not a white man. Because look at Mahaprabhu's dhoti, that's white. Am I that color? Not really. There's some variation on that. So that's the original, source of different colors of people. But it's interesting, Krishna and Balaram, there's a difference in color. Krishna, of course, he's blackish, actually blackish blue, really, the color of a monsoon cloud. There, yeah, monsoon clouds. They're black, but with a blue tint sort of in there. And they're like shiny, they're effulgent. Yeah. So that's Krishna's color. Then Balaram is white, like his dhoti, like his pullover, you see, and like Yamaraj's dhoti, and Prabhuji's shirt at the back, that's white. Yeah, so, but the thing is that it doesn't make any difference because they're equal. They're equal. The only difference is the color, and that's it. You may have heard, there's a little story about this. Is there a difference between Krishna and Balaram? Some devotees one devotee named Madhu Devisa Swami, and another devotee named Yamuna Devi Dasi. I don't know, maybe you heard of her, she's quite famous. She was an expert cook, and she made a cookbook. It's about this thick, and I think you have a copy, don't you? You got a copy, right? That book was by Yamuna. Unfortunately, they both passed away, but anyway. So they were they were in the first group of devotees Prabhupada took to India. So this means like 1971 or something like that. So there they were, and these two, Madhu Devisa Swami, Yamuna Mataji, they're having a discussion, almost like an argument. Is there a difference between Krishna and Balaram? And Madhu Devisa Swami said, there's no difference. There's no difference. There's a difference in color, but it doesn't matter. It's just, doesn't make any difference. So they, as people, they're the same. But then Yamuna Mataji said, no, there is a difference, because Krishna is the only enjoyer of Radharani, Srimati Radharani. Yeah, just like, well, you see in the picture in the back there, right? There's Krishna standing with his flute, and then down on the lower level offering flowers at his lotus feet. That's Srimati Radharani. Now we should replace that picture because it's lost its color.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find an original and photograph it and blow it up.
I have it at home.
Oh, you do? Oh, okay.
When you come again.
Anyway, yeah, Radharani. So she is Radha means to worship, and Rani means queen. She is the queen of worshippers of Krishna. So anyway, so Madhu Devisa Swami said, no difference, just difference in color, but it doesn't matter. And she said, no, there is a difference, because Krishna's the only enjoyer of Radharani, not Balaram. So there's a difference. But they were just arguing, they couldn't come to a conclusion. So one other devotee, Tamal Krishna Goswami, kind of famous devotee, very close to Prabhupada, he took them both to Prabhupada. And so he sat them down, and then he, Tamal Krishna, explained to Prabhupada that these two are having this, disagreement. And so Tamal Krishna Goswami said, Madhu Devisa Swami says, there's no difference between Krishna and Balaram. There's just a little difference of color, but it doesn't matter. So really there's no difference. And Prabhupada said, he's right. And then Tamal Krishna Goswami said, but Mother Yamuna says there is a difference, because Krishna is the only enjoyer of Radharani. And Prabhupada said, she's right. You follow me? And Tamal Krishna Goswami said, Prabhupada, they can't both be right. And Prabhupada said, you're right. That's a good one. And Tamal Krishna Goswami said, but Prabhupada, how are we meant to understand this? And Prabhupada said, you decide. In other words, it doesn't matter. Just don't worry about it. Yes, sometimes there are things like that in Krishna consciousness. They seem to not make sense, but it doesn't matter. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, Balaram is there. Balaram is very great. He is the first expansion of Krishna. And like we said, he's basically equal to Krishna. You know, you get so many other expansions, but usually they have less power, less beauty. You know, they have less than Krishna himself. Like Lord Ramachandra, he's Krishna, he's a form, an expansion of Krishna, but he is a lesser expansion. He is not displaying all the powers and opulences of Krishna. So he's like a partial expansion, you could say. And some are even, there's one verse in Bhagavatam discussing this. It says some of them are parts, some are parts of parts. So there's sort of a hierarchy, different levels of these different expansions of Lord Krishna. But Lord Balaram is the highest, the first and the highest expansion, to the point that, like we've said, you can't really say there's a difference, like a real difference. Now, a very interesting thing, extremely interesting, and really important thing about Lord Balaram is he is in the mood of a devotee. Even though he is Krishna, he is the first expansion, and there are millions and nobody knows how many more who are all lower, but Lord Balaram considers himself a devotee of Krishna. And there is a sort of like a discussion. Jiva Goswami, one of our greater acharyas, his picture's on the altar there, he says that if Krishna is asked, who is God? Krishna points to himself and says, me. Not me, but Krishna. Yeah. Me. He doesn't beat around the bush. Like if we ask Mahaprabhu Prabhu, are you a great devotee? You know what he'll say? He'll say no. And he'll sort of, no, and this and that and some other things, trying to prove he's not. Although I can tell you all that he is, but don't tell him I said that, okay? Yeah, really. But he'll say, no. But Krishna, if you ask him, who is God? Krishna just says, me. Straight answer. But now if you go to Balaram and you ask him that, well, who are you? Are you God? Balaram will say, no, I'm not. Then you ask him, well, who are you then? And Balaram will say, I am a devotee of Krishna. That's who I am. Although he is a form of Krishna, he has no less power. And there are 6 opulences of the Supreme Lord: beauty, strength, knowledge, renunciation. What's another one? Fame. And then the 6th one?
Strength.
No, I said power.
Oh. Renunciation.
Mm.
Opulence, opulence.
Wealth, we already said that. But anyway, you can look it up. There's 6. Krishna has all of them in full. And Balaram does too. But you ask Balaram, who are you? Are you God? No, I'm not. Krishna is. Then who are you then? I'm a devotee of Krishna. Yeah, and this is really wonderful. And you know, if you ever get to read Chaitanya Charitamrita, then there's a whole, in one of the chapters, there's a whole discussion about the state of mind of Balaram. And this point is made that his mood, he sees himself as a devotee, not as God. And then, you know, all the other expansions, like Ramachandra we mentioned, Nrsingadev, we all know Nrsingadev, you know Nrsingadev, right? And so on and so forth. They're all expansions of Krishna, but through Balaram. Through Balaram. They all come from Balaram, actually. And Balaram comes from Krishna. So in that sense, they're Krishna's expansions. But in another sense, they're all expanding from Lord Balaram. So the point is made there in Chaitanya Charitamrita that all of the other forms of the Lord, they're generally in the mood that I'm a devotee. Generally, they're in that sort of mood. Coming from Balaram, they've taken that mood from him. It's very interesting. And so, and even, you may know that Krishna, Lord Krishna, he was here 5,000 years ago. And then after some time, he went back to Goloka Vrindavan. And when he was there, Krishna was thinking of what he did when he was here 5,000 years ago. And you know, all the different devotees who he was associating with and who were serving him. And then Krishna got one realization. Krishna realized he's thinking about all these devotees and how they served him. And he realized that I got so much pleasure from being served by them, but they got more pleasure by serving me. You get the idea? Krishna got so much pleasure from being served by them, but they got more pleasure than Krishna did through serving him. This is a very important point. And Krishna now, he was thinking, wow, really, about different of the devotees of Vrindavan and how they got more pleasure from serving him than he got from being served by them. And he's thinking of different individuals. Someone got double the pleasure that he got through serving him. Someone got 10 times more pleasure by serving him than he got, Krishna got, by being served by that particular devotee. And finally he came to Radharani, and she got 10 million times more enjoyment by serving Krishna than Krishna got from being served by her. You follow the idea? You follow the idea? Follow the idea. It's very important. So when Krishna was thinking about this, then Krishna sort of made a decision, he said, wow, I want to be a devotee, because that's where the pleasure is. You know, I've had enough with being God. I want to become a devotee. So then he appeared as, who did he appear as? Loud and clear.
Devotee.
Okay, which one? Anyway, Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya is Krishna. Actually, it's Radha and Krishna together in one form. but in the mood of a devotee, actually in the mood of Radharani herself. And that in that way Krishna got the greatest pleasure. So we should really try to be devotees and perform service to Krishna. And then we'll find that we become happier than, any other way. Prabhupada once, it's a bit of a long story, but Prabhupada told one devotee that a devotee who liked, Prabhupada said there are two types of devotees. One likes to eat prasadam. The other likes to serve prasadam. The good news is, Prabhupada said, they are equal. Yeah. So if you're in the category you prefer to eat prasadam, it's okay, you're all right. But then Prabhupada said, so they're both good, but the one who likes to serve prasadam is better. So we should always try to think in these terms. How can we do some service? How we can do some service? And I think there are plenty of opportunities, isn't it? We got lots of opportunities. We got more opportunities than we've got devotees. So the field is open if you want to, get some service and then get the nectar. You can do it, no problem. And if you're already doing it, congratulations. So Lord Balaram is the first one who's in that mood. Very first one. And he's just always trying to please Krishna, trying to serve Krishna. Therefore he expands into different forms. Without getting into too much detail, in the material world is being like supervised, directed by a form of Lord Balaram, an expansion of Lord Balaram, who's called Mahavishnu. You heard of Mahavishnu? No. Now you've heard of Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu is supervising the whole material world, not just this planet, not just this universe, but there's many, many universes with many planets. He's supervising them all, Mahavishnu. And he is an expansion of Balaram. And then within each universe is another form of Balaram called Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. You heard of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu? Okay, now you have. Yeah. And Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is supervising each universe. Mahavishnu's supervising all the universes. Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, coming from him, is supervising each universe. And then there's Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, who is within the heart of all of us. And actually he's within every atom. Talk about being in a good position to control things and manage and organize things. He is within every atom. Yeah. These are all forms of Lord Balaram. And Lord Balaram manifests those forms to serve Krishna in different ways. And then there's some other ways. Let me tell you some others, which are really interesting. Lord Balaram takes the form of Krishna's house. Krishna's house. in the kingdom of God is a form of Lord Balaram. Balaram sort of turned himself into that form. He can do things like that. He's Krishna's house. He's Krishna's bed. He's Krishna's pillow. He's Krishna's fan. Like we got these fans back there, right? We use for the arati, the chamara and the peacock fan. They're forms of Lord Balaram, actually. Then, let's see, Krishna's sandals, like his shoes, they're forms of Lord Balaram. On the altar here, I think there's shoes there for Gaunatai. They have shoes. Jagannath has shoes. Got shoes. Those shoes are forms of Lord Balaram. Then the jewelry, the ornaments that, like you see there, Gaunatai, there's some ornaments. There's the crown, big golden crown. And I'm sure there's some bangles and things, you know, a few other things. They're forms of Lord Balaram. Can you believe it? He, like, consciously takes these forms to serve Krishna. Then Krishna's sitting place is a form of Lord Balaram. Then when Krishna fights, sometimes Krishna fights the demons, his weapons are forms of Lord Balaram. It's amazing, isn't it? And it's because he's just so much in the mood of serving Krishna, knowing that Krishna is the ultimate Supreme Lord. So Jiva Goswami, this great devotee from 500 years ago, I mentioned him a few minutes ago, he says, there is practically nothing which is not Lord Balaram. I mean, of things which are used in Krishna's service. So therefore, we should all, I mean, it's so important to do service and really be absorbed in service. And he appears in different forms, like Radharani. You know who Radharani is, right? Yes, of course. In the picture, Radharani. Radharani has a younger sister. The sister's name is Ananga Manjari. She is a form of Balaram. Balaram has taken a female form to serve Krishna in that type of way. So, wow, it's just incredible, actually. And if we look in Srimad Bhagavatam, in the 10th canto, we will find there are many pastimes of Krishna, and in many of them Krishna kills demons. You heard of Putana? Putana?
Yes.
She was the first, she was like a witch.
Yes.
Yeah. What's witch? What would you say? Not Sangoma, that's different, isn't it? Anyway, a witch. And she used, you know how she lived? By drinking the blood of little girls. So watch out. Naughty little girls. So you've got to be very good. Otherwise you're going to have to watch out. Putana may come. So Krishna killed all these demons. The 10th canto of the Bhagavatam, there's so many stories of Krishna killing different demons. But amongst all those demons killed by Krishna, there are some who were killed by Balaram. Can any of you tell me the name of one demon mentioned in the Bhagavatam who was killed by Balaram. Now I'm really testing you. Let's see who's really Krishna conscious. I'll tell you, here, I'll give you the list. There's a list. And, if we had time, we could tell the story of each one, because there is a whole story. The first one was Dhenukasura. You heard of Dhenukasura? You heard? He was in the form of a donkey. Dhenukasura. Yeah, he was in the form of a donkey, but not like your ordinary donkey. I mean, you get donkeys around here and there, but he was like a gigantic donkey, like bigger than the house. I mean, really big and really powerful. And I'll just mention a little bit of the story, is that he was living in a forest in those days in the Vrindavan area where Krishna appeared. There were many forests. Yeah. So Dhenukasura was living in, what was the name of the forest? Talavan. It's still there actually, Talavan, but not much of a forest really, but the area is there. And there's a temple of Balaram there. So anyway, this Dhenukasura in the form of a donkey, he was a very envious person, nasty person. I mean, he's a donkey, but very nasty donkey. He would, he's living in the forest and there are many trees which produce fruits. He would not eat the fruits. They just, they grow on the tree until they just fall off onto the ground and just go rotten on the ground, because he would not eat the fruit. But if any person or any animal or like a bird came to eat some fruit, he wouldn't let them. He would kill them. Really, he wasn't going to eat them. They're just going to be wasted on the ground. But he'd kill them. So he was really, someone who does like that is not a good person. Envious, very envious. So what happened was, Krishna and Balaram and the cowherd boys and the cows, they came down, because Krishna and Balaram, they take the cows out every day. They came down and they're passing by this Talavan, this forest. And it was like midsummer, which is the time when a lot of fruit trees are producing their fruit. So they're passing by, and some of the cowherd boys smelt the smell coming from the forest of all this ripe fruit. Yeah. And, you know what they thought? Do you think that they would think, we want to eat some of the fruit? No. They thought, we want to get some of this fruit and offer it to Krishna. That's the mood of a devotee. I don't want to be the enjoyer. Let Krishna enjoy. And then afterwards, he'll leave me something. But they knew, if we say to Krishna, we want to get some of the fruit from the forest to offer to you, Krishna would say, it's okay, I don't need it. I've got my lunchbox. Krishna had a lunchbox he would take out every day. Like when you go to school, do you take a lunchbox with you? Yeah. So Krishna had his lunchbox. And I won't tell you what was in his lunchbox, but any type of prasadam you can think of was in Krishna's lunchbox. It's just a normal size lunchbox. It's not some giant box. But because Krishna has mystical powers, he could put like 100 different types of sabjis into the box. Can you imagine? 100 different varieties of samosas in this one box. It's like this size. Mystical, magical. So therefore, they didn't say to Krishna that we want to offer the fruit to you. Will you help us to get some? They just said, they didn't mean it, but they just said, oh, we want to eat some of that fruit. Because they knew that Krishna, when he sees his devotee want something, Krishna makes sure that the devotee is able to get it. So Krishna, if they said, we want to eat some of the fruit, which was not exactly what they wanted to offer it to him. But if they said like that, Krishna immediately would say, right, let's go in, I'll get you some. So that's what they said, we want to eat some of the fruit. And Krishna said, right, let's go in, I'll get you some. And in they went. And it's a bit of a long story, but I'll keep it brief. It's a good story. Are you familiar with this story of Dhenukasura? Really? Wow, that's good. Very good. So in they go. Now they're in the forest. And Dhenukasura, this giant donkey demon, is sleeping somewhere just a little way away inside the forest. And they want to get some fruit, but it's still hanging from the trees. So what happened was, Balaram took hold of one of the trunks of one tree and shook the trunk, and so all these fruits came falling down. In fact, because Balaram is so powerful, when he shook the tree, you know what happened? The whole planet shook. The whole planet. Even here in Soweto, Soweto was shaking. Yeah. And if you look in the newspapers from 5,000 years ago, from Soweto, the Sowetan, you'll see there's a story. On this certain day, the whole place started shaking. Anyway, I'm just joking, don't worry. So, but this woke up Dhenukasura. And Dhenukasura, this giant donkey, nasty donkey, he thought, he woke up, he jumped up, and he thought, who has come into my forest and is shaking the trees to get fruit? My fruit. Who is it? So he came racing over. And there's Balaram shaking the tree. So Dhenukasura, the donkey demon, he thought, right, I am going to get this boy, this white-skinned boy. I'm going to get him. So he came running at Lord Balaram. Right in front of Balaram, he spun around and kicked Balaram in the chest with his hoofs. And he's big and powerful, Dhenukasura. So yeah, now he's, with his back to Balaram. He turned around to see what had happened to Balaram after he got kicked, expecting Balaram to have gone flying, Yeah. But Balaram's just standing there like everything is cool. Super cool. No problem. Do it again, I don't mind. And Dhenukasura couldn't understand. What on earth? I just kicked him so hard, and it hasn't even moved him 1 inch. Normally people would fly for 50 meters after he's kicked them. So, but anyway, it's like I said, it's a bit of a long story, but the way it works out is that, again, he came running at Balaram again. This time, just straight at him. He's just going to run over him, just right over the top of Balaram. But Balaram, with his left hand, not his right hand, his left hand, grabbed the 2 front feet or hoofs of Dhenukasura. You know why left hand? This is technical information. Do you know why left and not right? Left, because the left hand is used for dealing with things which are dirty, not the right hand. Right hand is for dealing with things which are clean, like prasadam. You know, when we eat with our hands, we use our right hand because it's clean, and prasadam is pure. So we use the right hand. Yeah, but he grabbed the 2 front legs of Dhenukasura with his left hand, because Dhenukasura is very dirty, like really, wow, in a terrible state. And Balaram spun him around and around so fast. You know, I don't know if you've seen, maybe you've seen devotees sometimes in kirtan. 2 devotees, they hold each other's hands and spin around. Sometimes they spin so fast, like really fast, one of them becomes dizzy. Yeah. In this case, Balaram spun Dhenukasura around so fast that Dhenukasura died. The force was just too much. He was dead donkey. And Balaram then threw him, or his dead body, up, and it landed on the top of a palm tree. Big palm tree. And there was a row of palm trees, one after the other. This dead Dhenukasura landed on top of that first palm tree and then bounced to the top of the next one. And the first one fell over. Then to the top of the third one, and the second one fell over. Then the top of the fourth one, and the third one fell over. The top of the fifth one and the fourth one fell over. You get the idea. Sort of like a domino, I don't know if you know what I mean by domino effect. You know, you get these dominoes, little sort of like cards, and you knock one into the next one, it goes over, it knocks the next one. So bang, 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 they all go down. It's a domino effect. Yeah. So there you go. That was the end of Dhenukasura, and it was Lord Balaram who did it. It wasn't Krishna, although Krishna was there. So there's a few. Dhenukasura, Pralambasura, Dvivida, and Romaharshana. I mean, there's some other pastimes which feature him. Like he gambled with Rukmi, the brother of Rukmini. He came back to Vrindavan and danced with the gopis. He dragged Hastinapur towards the Yamuna, but 4 demons he killed. Dhenukasura, Pralambasura, Dvivida, the gorilla, and Romaharshana. This is Balaram. He's very powerful. And he's very wonderful. He's always in this mood of serving. Yeah. He's the type of devotee that when it's time for prasadam, then that type of devotee gets up and says, I want to serve. In fact, I know one little story. I was right there with Giriraj Maharaj. I don't know if you were there. In the Radharadhanath temple in Durban. It was some festival day. Outside it was raining. So prasadam was served in the temple room. And he was sitting, the first one to be served prasadam. I was sitting next to him. And then, then there's a line of devotees. And they're going to be served prasadam. So someone came and served Giriraj Maharaj something, and Maharaj looked at it. Suddenly Maharaj jumped up and said, I am sick of being served. I'm tired of being served. I want to do some service. So he took the bucket of prasadam from the devotee and the spoon, and he went along the line serving all the devotees. I don't suppose, were you there? You heard about that one?
I heard about it.
It's a good one. I was right there. That's the mood. But if you'd rather just sit there and eat the prasadam, it's okay. It's all right. Don't stress about it. Okay, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Shri Baladev Ji Ki Jai.